sketchbook tour. I do these every Saturday. But the reason I'm going to go ahead and do this sketchbook tour Friday instead, of course, I don't have work today, so I can do it today. But also because I'll have a regular art video that will be up in the morning. It'll be a digital speed paint video with music playing to it, where I won't have any commentary or anything like that. So, and plus I'll be going to my mom's, so I won't have time to do both videos. So I'm going to do this sketchbook tour today. I have another one of my bigger sketchbooks. We're getting down to the stack that I found. There's only 4 left to go through there before I have to go up there and dig to find the rest of them. But anyway, it's not why you turned into this video was to hear me sit here and be boring and just talk about sketchbooks that you ain't got to see yet. So you're tuned in to see this sketchbook. This sketchbook in particular is from 2015. This was my last temporary term with the Department of Highways. And so a lot of this artwork was done out on the road, and some of it wasn't, because it's for the entire year. And mind you, I wasn't there for the entire year, just part of it. But without further ado, let's get into the sketchbook. As you can see, it's been out on the road because it's got water damage and stuff to the outer cover of it. Like I say, when you take sketchbooks out on the road, they get beat the heck and back. And this one is real beat because, see, it was in one of my road bag and stuff. Which any sketchbook that goes out on the road, before I get into the sketchbook, any sketchbook that goes out on the road with me is going to be beat to crap because it's in my road bag, which carries my entire life out on the road with me. So without further ado and that boring commentary, let's get into the sketchbook. And the first page of the sketchbook is just like a doodle poop. I was playing with some cheap colored pencils that come in the wooden box sets that you get that are like, you pay like $24 or something like that for them. And it's the art, the economy art set for the beginner artist, I guess. I was playing around with those color pencils on this, and I did just a logo of P. Lady Wolf Productions with the tattoo machines and stuff like that, because, mind you, I do have tattoo machines, and I did work in a tattoo shop for a while and was apprenticing. And like I said, I can do tattoos, but my line work is probably still not stellar, or I haven't done it in a while. So I would have to really sit down and re-practice a lot of stuff. But this was just a doodle. Ink doodle that I did to play with the color pencils and stuff on this, and you can tell that P Lady's head's like really broad and nice. Yeah, I like that. Sometimes she has the real skinny muzzle and sometimes she doesn't. I mean, my art varies from style to style that I use, and I use like a tattoo-esque type style for this, even though I don't have a lot of the heavy blacks that would be in a traditional piece, because I wanted to do a lot more coloring and the lines to be thin. So that's what I did. But I was just playing with cheap color pencils in a box set. And this one starts out the sketchbook. And the next one, where I did a bunch of the mug shots of us from Purgatory. And some people probably remember when I did these 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And, which in May, these will be 4 years old. So technically they're still 3 years old now. But 3 years ago, people remember when I did these because these were very popular pieces I did. The first one here is of myself, P. Lady, and of course, I exaggerated and put the cuts and the bandages and stuff on them, and it's like the police department, it's a mugshot. She's in there for murder and all that crap. But yeah, the first one's P. Lady there, Miss Evil herself. And the next one is Dwayne, his mugshot. He's all beat up and got the blood on him too and stuff. These were done with a Sharpie pen and graphite. Sharpie pen, graphite, and a red ballpoint pen, if anybody's wondering. And these took about a day to complete a piece when they were done. The next one's Foxy. Hers is the cutest because she's got like this devious, mean little expression and these huge ass eyelashes and her little tongue stuck out. She does actually have her tongue pierced in real life. And just a real devious little look on her face and little collar. And then we got Curly here. His mugshot, which I love because he just looks like, dude, I don't care. I don't give a shit for nothing. And that's pretty much his attitude, too. And we got Precious. Cute little old devious, mean little shit-ass Precious. Because Precious is love. Adelaide, are you going to get into my sketchbook tour? You want to say hi to the people? Addie. Mommy's kitty. Quit licking my artwork, you goober. Sorry about that. She's like up in my biz, man. She's like looking my sketchbook. But we got Precious here, and he's all smiling, and he's got big eyes and big ears, and he wears a little bell and stuff. He's P-Lady's little pet. He's all beat up, and he's got a little tongue stuck out, looking all evil and stuff. Mind you, his muzzle wouldn't be that wide, because he has like a cat-esque type face. He's like a cross between a fox, a fennec fox, and a cat. And sometimes the proportions and stuff on that can be hard to get right. The next one is just something I left as a pencil sketch of P-Lady dancing for Dwayne out with the gypsy wagon and Mouse watching in the background. And wondering what the hell's going on, just watching. I don't know why I didn't color this. This would have been pretty colored. Has a lot of detail to it. As you can see, her ears and stuff like that. And it would have been really nice colored, but I don't, except for that arm, it looks broken right there because I got it off. But other than that, it isn't a bad piece at all. I think I just doodled this really fast because it looks like I hurried on the gypsy wagon because I didn't get it right. You can tell that's a rush job right there, but the rest of it wasn't rushed. A bit. I think I drew this one out on the road and decided that I liked it better as a simplistic sketch than, and I was afraid that if I did anything else to it, I was going to ruin the effect of the piece. So that's probably why, and it has the crow coming up out of the flames and stuff, but that's probably why I left it as a sketch. Next one's another piece that I'm pretty damn well known for, and I know you all seen this piece before. I know y'all recognize it if you have been on my galleries and followed me for years on Fur Affinity and DeviantArt, and I know you have seen this piece, or on Facebook. I know you've seen this piece. It's also on Instagram with the P-Lady with the Plague Doctor mask on, the city blowing up behind. This was all done, and this was outlined in Sharpie pen and colored with Prismacolor pencils on this cheap sketch paper. And it did take a whole day to color this because I set and saturated the color on the paper to the point, I think, in places where I almost rubbed through the paper on it, which that's the thing with cheap sketchbooks. Sometimes you just have to let the noise be the noise in the image, because to get it nice and pristine like this, you might just actually tear a hole through the paper. And this is just, I got it smooth like this, and almost all it has noise in it still, but I got it almost all out because I sat there and just pressed and went over and over and over and over and worked the layers, but you can feel the paper's like crinkled because of it. And another piece that most people have known of is this free tattoo flash I did of the Lamb of God and the Hellhound, which I depicted as a hyena. And this one was also done with Sharpie pen and Prisma pencils. But this is the Lamb of God and the Hellhound. This is a free tattoo flash piece. This is free to have tattooed on you if you want to have it done by any tattoo artist. I don't care, and they can even alter the image some too if they want, because I know there's some anatomy ticks on this, but it is a free tattoo flash. The next one, I was playing with graphite, it looks like, drawing Gims block gazelles in Africa. Even though I got the front legs way too long on this, and I realize that now, I should have cut them off about like right there on the paper. I should have framed this image and cut the legs off about right there. But it gave me an excuse to draw a person too, so I tried to draw an ethnic person riding the Gemsbach, with his little staff and stuff, and his puppy dog, riding them out through the savannah there. I don't know where I was going with this, but it was a good idea at the time. And I really like it, except for the overlong legs in the front on the antelope. This was a ballpoint pen piece of crystals and bones on a hourglass and ravens. I think I also did this as a tattoo-esque type piece. I don't think I would say this is flash, but you could probably use it as a tattoo flash and just have the tattoo artist redo the crows to make them a little bit more appealing. I would, because I think I rushed them. I did take my time on this part of the focal point, and then I was just like, yeah, fuck it, and just started like getting sloppy on the rest of it. Camera angles here is going to get a little wonky because my phone was dying, so I had to, sorry about that, I had to put the little charger plug in on it. But yeah, this is just some ballpoint pen work I was playing with and stuff. Nothing too fancy. And I don't think that's too accurate to how a canine skull looks frontal, but I didn't use a reference. I just drew it from memory. It's almost correct, but not entirely. Which canine skulls can sometimes be a little challenge to draw too. A little bit, not a lot. The next one, we got a little cartoon. It's ballpoint pen doodle. I think I did this out on the road. P Lady and Dwayne. I can hike and pee too, and he's like, LOL. She's making fun, because, the guys out on the road, they can go pee anywhere. And the females, well, we're fucked, because we have to go to public restrooms. But I was one of them ones that didn't really give a crap if I was at a public restroom or not. If I had to go, I went where I was at, and I didn't really give two craps about it. And they loved me for it because I wasn't a complicated one to work with. So, but this is a cartoon making fun of females out on the road. It's just like, the guys can go pee, but we can't. But I'm just like, I'm gonna be the rebel and break the rule. Fuck this. I'm gonna piss wherever I want, just like they can piss wherever they want. And that's pretty much what I did. Next page is another ballpoint pen doodle. I believe I did this one out on the road as well, of them walking through Apocalyptic City. And there's a lot to see in this piece, because this piece, believe it or not, because it's a doodle, did take me quite a bit to do, because this got all kinds of stuff in it, because it takes a while for you to see everything, because you got these little guys, you got eyes, you got eyes, you got these little guys, these little guys, these little guys, you got skulls, you got P Lady and Dwayne leading the pack, and Precious up front here, they're leading the pack, and the others are behind them. And I think this was inspired by a Stephen King novel I was reading at the time, where he was describing the city. And there's a lot of cross-hatching in here, and not like solid coloring with the ballpoint, just a lot of cross-hatching and loose sketching. And this is very loose, except for the lines on them, which I didn't make loose because the rest of the image was so loose. But yeah, this was inspired by a King novel I was reading at the time. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been The Dark Tower. Could have been. But I'm thinking I already had those already completed by the time that this was sketched. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I had. So it must have been something else I was reading of his. But anyway, it inspired this piece. This one, I was testing myself to do sepia tones only, and this is watercolor. and Crayola color pencils. Yes, I said Crayola. And I used a Sharpie pen to do the hard outlines. It's basically Dwayne's tackling P Lady in a junkyard because these are motorcycle gas tanks off motorcycle. He's tackling her in a junkyard, and Foxy's kind of like hiding out over here watching and stuff. But yeah, this is all sepia tones. I challenged myself to do just these tones in this entire piece. No other. The only color I put on in here that was another color was the blue. That's it. But, yep, sepia. This one I digitally colored in Photoshop. When I done it, it was called Road Dogs. But yeah, it's just basically the gang there. And I digitally colored this very badly in Photoshop, mind you, because I kind of rushed it because Mother didn't give a shit. But this is the outline to it. And this is another piece that I'm known for in my galleries that I know people have seen this play. This one's called The Shades of Summer of the Lisa Frank-esque zebra, realistic looking zebra with a simplistic background. And to get these colors, yes, I did have to press very hard and go over many times on this paper with Prismacolors to get this blend nice and no noise in the paper. But you can see the paper is crinkled, very crinkled from where I've had to press. And I think in a few places the paper's thin, like right in here and stuff where I almost went through the paper. But yeah, this is the Shades of Summer. That's another one of my popular pieces for the 2015 year that I did. This one y'all recognize as a digital piece. Hell yeah, this was digitized, but this is the original inks to it. Of the cowgirl on the horse with the horse is mechanics and his tail's all chains, and the dogs. This was all done in dip pen, calligraphy pen, and when you run your hand over it, you can hear how rough it is because the ink was tearing the paper from itself. But this is the original inks of this, and I did flat colors only over the heavy inks in Photoshop, and it actually turned out to be a really nice effect and piece, and it looked just like it was out of a graphic novel. It was freaking bitchin'. This is the original line art and inks to it that I took digital paint over top of after cleaning the image up in Photoshop. This is it. This took a while to do. I think this took like 2 days to ink. No, not even joking. All the detail and stuff in this is just insane. And I tend to do this when I use pen and ink. I mean, I go insane with detail. And it usually takes me 2 to 3 days to do a good inked piece like this. That's what you're looking at. And then a day to do the flat paints over top this, because the black is going to be the shading on it. And it makes it have a very comic booky feel. It's nice. It's very nice. But this is the original inks to that. Look at that detail. That took a while. And another one that everybody knows, of the two alphas and stuff. This one was all done in, I did a Sharpie pen and Prisma pencils with some watercolors. I got this one. It's a headshot of P Lady and Dwayne with the skulls and the patterns behind them. This was another popular one in 2015. And this one took a while too. This took a couple days because I used watercolor so I wouldn't have to press so hard with the color pencils and go layer, 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 layer. But you can still feel that here that the paper, was coming off itself. Like in all of these they were. This is my Kelpie I did with pen and ink. And again, you can hear where the paper's coming off itself. Cheap sketchbooks like this they're not the best to use for medias that you have to do layerage and go over multiple times because the paper starts peeling and picking off itself. Canson all-purpose paper is the best because it can withstand quite a bit. This isn't a Canson sketchbook. As you can see, it's kind of thin paper. But yeah, that's my Kelpie. Look at all the detail in its face and everything. That's done with a calligraphy pen. This is a marker piece of Max and Tito. That's war dogs with the dog tags. I did this very simplistic. It's kind of a tattoo-esque type flash piece I did, where it's simple but not simple. This I did with purple and orchid Crayola color pencils of the gang. That's P-Lady. She's sitting there happily foaming at the mouth, and Foxy's all surprised, and Precious is happy, and they're all happy, and they got these goofy expressions and stuff. Just a really fun piece, and that derpy expression, just like, yeah, I'm a happy wolf. And that's basically about it. I is a happy wolf. And this one was a break room fast sketch. I think I did it in 5 minutes. It's super fast, and the anatomy is all over the place because of that and doesn't look correct. And I know what she's doing, but I screwed up like right here on it, and I was still with the DOH on this. So yeah, she's just sitting there like being all silly and goofy, which she should have had her hind end this way, but I don't know. I think I was doing something different and then switched gears, and that often happens with me. But yeah, it's just a fast doodle sketch. This was done out on the road. It's called The Test of Time, or it has P-Lady standing there and the raven and the skulls and stuff. This is very picturesque of what I did back in high school. I even think I used Crayola color pencils on this instead of Prisma. Pretty sure I did. And because I drew this in a Truckee, the anatomy is all over the crapping place. Got his face off. I got her face a little crooked. But, you know, it's kind of hard to be in a vehicle and being bounced around and draw at the same time because I got her muzzle off. It starts out straight and it kind of goes, the line starts straight and it kind of goes, But yeah, this was a piece I did out on the road. I wasn't driving that day, which was why I was drawing. So, yep, I did that one. It was just real fast. I think I finished it in probably 30 minutes. Yeah, it was 30 minutes. Maybe an hour. This was another one I did at the garage. Graphite and color. I wasn't out on the road that day, so I was there, and after I got the garage cleaned, I sat down and had all day to draw, so I sat and did this. It has P-Lady and half of her faces, skeletal, and it's got like these. And I didn't outline it, I left it outlineless because I was trying something, but this side of the face got muddied in with the background, and a lot of stuff here got muddied in together. I was trying to do graphite and color pencil mixes to give color pops, and it turned out okay, and it's kind of like surreal looking. This one was another calligraphy pen piece I did. This one was real fast. I did something similar like this a long time ago. And it's in one of the old sketchbooks. When I get to it, you'll see it. It's one of the big 11 by 14 sketchbooks I have somewhere. But I have one that has the girl and this horse with it. And I drew the horse by itself real quick. Obviously, I didn't take time on this, because I sketched it at work, and then I inked it when I got home one evening from work. So, because it was done out on the road, the sketch originally, it was super quick and fast and sloppy, and then I came home and just slapped ink on it trying to make it look better, basically. I ain't gonna lie. This one is Road Pirates. This is the headshot of the gang. P-Lady, Dwayne, Belly, Curly, Foxy. Just a headshot done in... Yeah, I did that one in calligraphy pen too. Like, I love doing pen work. And because I used to work exclusively in pen, because I didn't have color pencils or other media to work with, so I still love working with pen. Ballpoint, calligraphy pen, which I've got 2 different calligraphy pens. I have one that's made entirely of glass, and that is my best one, believe it or not. Not the one with the metal tip, but the freaking glass one. And that was super nice that my bestie got me one year for Christmas. This was a fast sketch I did at work, and then brought it home and inked it with calligraphy pen of a 50s pinup girl with a car. And this has a lot of flaws and errors with it, but it was fun to do. And the guys suggested I do this, and I did the car and everything with no references, and I know things are off on it because I don't draw automotive vehicles, because I just don't draw automobiles. I mean, I like drawing them, but I just don't do them well. And the girl and stuff, because they wanted me to draw this 50s girl with this old car, so that's what I did. And this was a doodle, and then I just brought it home and inked it and slapped some, cross-hatching and stuff on it. But this wasn't a serious piece. Her face is off bad, too. It's crazy. This one was done out on the road, too. Run With Me in Paradise. P-Lady and Dwayne running on a beach. Yeah, I did really bad water with the Prisma pencils. And this is an outlineless piece. But like I said, I drew and colored this out on the road in a truck. So they turned out good. The background, not so much. Yep, the background, not so much. Lots of inspiration. You can see P-Lady's muzzle's gotten a little thin there. It has a stick like a Roddy's. Gotta say, sometimes there's some inconsistencies, but yeah, no, I don't use references much at all. But yep, that one was done out on the road. That was getting near the end of my term, I believe, or it was right in the peak of it. This one's just a nice little Sharpie pen and graphite and red ballpoint piece of, it's a vent piece. I was pissed. Yeah, not much to say about that other than I was having a day. And I drew that out on the road and did it there, so I was really having a day. And it does have a meaning why she's got swords in her back and everything like that, and her heart's ripped out. There's a meaning behind it. There was a reason why I was pissed off. And it probably had something to do with my ex. So, yeah. I was trying something with some deer. I did draw from a photo on this because I was playing with something here. Like, I was using watercolor wash over this to try to make it look like nighttime instead of using the pencils like I used to do. I'm trying to learn it, see if I could use that as a shortcut to make this look like nighttime with a tint, like the dusk tint on it. I don't think it achieved it to the point that I wanted it. It was okay for early dusk, I guess, where it's just starting to get a little dark. But for the ultimate doing nighttime scene, we'd just have to go straight color pencils. But yeah, just $2. Pen doodle of P-Lady and Dwayne in the city. Just a very fast doodle sketching, because you can tell because I didn't really give a shit about anatomy or proportion or angling or any of that thing. because their feet are huge, and her leg is huge and not right, and their butts are up in the air, which shouldn't be like that. They should be more, like right here. But I was a doodling. And when I doodle, a lot of times I don't really care about anatomy. I don't really care about the rules. I just don't care. I'm just doing it to have fun and have a blast with it. And that's all this was. This was a fast, probably 5-minute thing I did one morning in the break room. This is a gel pen piece that I did out on the road as well. This isn't a dip pen. This is gel pen. Because work had beautiful gel pens. I mean, the high-end, expensive ass ones that are nice. And they had a cabinet full of them, so I could always get what I wanted when I needed them for drawing and art and stuff. My boss always let me have maybe one or two of them at a time. And I did this piece with them. It's a tattoo-esque type piece of P. Lady and Dwayne with the crows and the skulls and the roses, vagina flowers. Vagina flowers with skulls in them. So I could do a lot, and because they were really fine pointed pens, could do a lot of this nice cross hatching that you're seeing in these pieces. Human and shifter forms of yours truly, and the right hand. It's back when my hair was red and blonde, or should I say blonde and red. It's not those colors no more. It's black with blue in the front now. But yeah, this is drawn from life. It's a rarity. P. Lady drew people. Oh my God. But yeah, I did these in Faber-Castell aquarelles. Yes. I even took the time to draw the actual tattoos that we actually have too. Holy hell. And that's a lot for me because I have a lot of ink. I have like 26 tattoos, I believe, and 17 piercings. Watercolor piece of The Last Unicorn because I just felt like doing some doodly poopy stuff because I'd watched the movie and just felt like drawing something really fast to paint with watercolors, so that's what I did, and this piece came about. This one is on my business cards. Y'all have seen it. I know you have. It was digitally colored in Photoshop, like I did the other one, where I did all this nice stippling and cross-hatching and stuff like that. This was done out on the road too. This was near the end of my term out on the road with the Department of Highways. And I took this nice ink sketch, took it into Photoshop, and I just put a layer of flats over top of it and let it go. And this is on my business cards to this day. I still use this image on my business cards because it's just nice. But this is the original ink pen version of it, the original inks of it that I did out on the road. Which I see that this right here could have curved a little bit more instead of just being straight like that. It needed to curve a little bit, but it's okay. That one this piece right here took, I think, 2 days. 2 days to ink. And that's a lot of inking, and my hand was dying. Because, I mean, look at all that detail. I mean, I'll bring the camera down and you can see some of the details on this. And this one I did out on the road too. This is just minimal darks. A lot of cross hatching and a lot of lights left. This was a design I did for the guys. It's called Road Warriors. Because we were thinking about making like a little club or something like this, and this was going to be the design on our jackets and stuff like that. But it never happened. But this was the design and idea for it. All done in those really nice pens that I got from work. This one I ended up digitally coloring very terribly, mind you, in Photoshop. It just has P. Lady with the rose and all that, and the skulls and the ghosts. The digital painting of this actually made this piece look dream-like and dream-esque, which is what it was supposed to be. And not much else to say about it. She was also hurt because she was missing work, because at this time I was already gone from the DOH, so I missed all my buddies. And this was a tribute piece to them. And I did this piece because I like Alaska. Everybody knows I have an obsession with Alaska, and I like sled dogs. I like everything to do with the North. So I drew the gang as sled dogs going through this last frontier town in Alaska. Gotta love P Lady's little tongue, or dim little tongue and them little eyeballs. She cute. Umbra, which was Mystic Eclipse's mascot and guardian of the chat that I ran back in the day. And he's a Korean, so I drew him and I digitally colored this for the chat, which I still have this design for the main page and everything like that to go back up, because one day I would like to revamp Mystic Eclipse, the graphical chat, and bring that community back, because I really miss those good old days of a 2D avatar chat. So they're great. This is a marker piece of P Lady with another with a were-dog, and he's in a mid-shift of turning into the dog form. And I did this all with Sharpie pen and regular Sharpie marker and some ballpoint. I was trying some different stuff here that I had learned in my art school. And so you gotta remember too, in some of these sketchbooks, I was still going to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, even though not all of my stuff that I did for that is in these sketchbooks and stuff, because I did them on separate sheets of paper, which is up in my portfolio, which is upstairs, and on canvases and stuff, which is also upstairs. But I did do some little assignments, like playing with black and white, negative space, and stuff like that in sketchbooks like this periodically, because they didn't know when you scanned and sent it in. So this was one of my class pieces for playing with black and white with using markers only. This little guy I digitally colored and also made a free coloring page. And that's what this guy is. It's a free coloring page. So if you see it in my galleries anywhere, this little guy's free to color in Photoshop or whatever as your character. Just something free I did for the public with gel pens. This is another famous piece that most people know me for. This is a graphite piece with red ballpoint pen and outlined with Sharpie pen of the gang as mobsters. Which this is a little dark because my lighting in here isn't good, but you got Curly in the white suit, you got P Lady sitting there, she's dropping the cards over the dead body, and Dwayne's watching, and this has some nudity in it, so, you know, if you're a kid, you may want to avert your eyes to some of this, but yeah, you can see some of the detail on the clothes and everything. This was another piece I did with markers. As you can see, they were dying, of a hartebeest and a gemsbok, and there's a lot of negative space on this. I think this was something concept I was playing around with for a class assignment. This wasn't the thing I turned in. I was just playing with an idea. Did this for a friend of mine on Facebook who's known me for way before Facebook. I did this in Sharpie markers and colored pencils of her dressed as a witch. I was playing with ballpoint pen, a pencil that had all different colors in the lead, and just tropical colors of Prisma pencils, just to give that color pop to Dwayne. And it's called Rotten because he's half skull here, and this side of his face is normal, but this side isn't. It's rotted away, so I entitled it Rotten. This was also another piece that I was well known for that year. Highlighter art for Halloween of my Foxy being a devil, and it says Trick or Treat. I played with font a lot there, as you can see, and text. Doodles This doodle page was kind of popular back when I posted it because this, I think, was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody. I think it was on Xbox while I was playing Xbox or something, and I was talking. Or it might have been on the phone, or I don't know. I can't remember. It's been 3 years ago. And it's like, I see stupid people, what the fuck, bitches everywhere. And it's like, derp. And I drew this in the AM, like, I'm not even lying, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the freaking ass morning with a gel pen. A P lady, just, I don't know, being weird. And these are real scribbly doodles. And you can see where I effed up on several places on them. Got her eyes too close there, effed up right through here, effed up on this side, effed up on the muzzle there, but you know, it was early in the morning, so that was fun. This one's entitled Be Happy or Be Miserable. This was another AM gel pen sketch that I did, P Lady and Dwayne, out in the countryside, and I actually like the background on this. But there's a meaning behind this little story too. And this was an AM sketch that I did. This was back in the days when I would stay up all fucking night and sleep 2 or 3 hours during the day and then just be up and hardly got any sleep. It's like when my sleeping issues really got to me. Because I didn't have a job at the time. So that's probably why. But yeah, it's Be Happy or Be Miserable is the name of the piece. And she's just basically telling him that you are the keeper of your own world and you control what goes on. But yeah. Precious, dressed as Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead, shooting a zombie. This was a pencil sketch that I did quickly. And I do say quickly because it was probably about a 10-minute sketch that I did. Reference sheet I made for P Lady Wolf. I digitized this in Photoshop of her form. And since, you know, I'm in communities where they have quadrupeds and in others where werewolf forms are accepted, I have 2 different forms here for both communities because they don't always allow, you know, the bipedal form in some of these communities. Most likely to not, it's the quadruped form that most of these communities accept and want, and not the bipedal. And then the headshot with her tongue lolled out. That was just so people could get I understand that her tongue is not pink because people, even though I'm a very simplistic wolf, people get me wrong, get my characteristics wrong all the time. It does happen. And I'm not even complexed. But it does happen. Sorry I had to fidget there. My leg was going to sleep on me. This was a marker scribble I did of a deer eating out of my hand and the other one watching. This was done in like crap that Mom had out the house in ballpoint pens. So it's super sloppy, super loose, super crappy looking. Not much to say about it. Warhorse I did with watercolors and Prisma pencils. Just a Palomino steed. Ballpoint pen, a P Lady telling Dwayne to smile, it gets better, and she's grabbing the sides of his mouth, making him smile. This was done in a big ballpoint pen. A pencil sketch of a giraffe I did probably in about 15 minutes, maybe 20. Just goofing off, doing something different. Ballpoint pen doodle that I did real quick and fast, probably about 20-minute sketch. It's not something I took my time on. And that one, I believe, finishes up the sketchbook, and it does. That's the end of that sketchbook. So that was another 2015 sketchbook knocked out. I want to thank everybody who joined me this morning on this tour, and I hope you enjoyed it.